an inside look at the restaurant industry and entrepreneurial insight to help you succeed. It's the Paper Trails Podcast with Albemarle Paper Supply.
What's going on, guys? How are ya? We're back with episode 26 of the Paper Trails Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Mitros, and I'm super pumped. I think this may be our first episode that we're shooting in 2021, so we're excited. Happy New Year. Hope you guys are having a pleasant 2021. We're a couple of days in, we're a couple of weeks in, but hopefully you guys are having a great year. I am super excited. First off, we're at a new location. We're actually Mario's Pizza in the Palladium shopping center area. And so Mario's Pizza, fantastic organization. They're clients of mine. We've known them for many, many years. And we were looking for a spot that we can actually shoot the podcast, the Paper Trails Podcast. And they offered, and I'm excited to be here. So shout out to these guys. But we have a guest on, and we have Nikki Miller-Ka, and she is from NikSnacks. NikSnacks. And so she is from the Triad up here. She covers food bloggers. She does a ton. I'm not even going to start as far as what she does. She's got her hands in everything, which is great. And this is one of the reasons why I even wanted to bring Nikki on, is because I want everybody out here listening, watching, to start thinking outside of the box. Like, let's start thinking, how can we create a name, a brand, a reputation for ourselves? How can restaurants get their names out there? What are some things that you can do creatively to whether you're a business owner, a restaurateur, food truck, catering company? That's our audience, Nikki. Like we have entrepreneurs, whether they're clients of mine or whether they're just watching, listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or watching this on YouTube. We love to bring different people on, whether they're, like I mentioned, owners or chefs or food bloggers, and let's learn about the industry. Let's learn about what can we do to make sure 2021 was better than 2020. What can we do to make sure that we're aggressive and we're not just waiting for things to happen and waiting for clients to come in or waiting. What can we do to get out there and just, as they say, take the bull by the horns and just make things happen? And so I'm super pumped to have Nikki on with us. We've spoken for weeks now, or, months maybe, and so we finally made it happen. And so thanks for being a guest on our show.
Thank you for having me.
And we're excited to have you on. And so why don't we do this? Maybe for the handful of people that maybe haven't heard of you or don't know you, let's do a quick introduction. Where you from? How did you even get into the scene? Is this something that you always wanted to do? Is this something that you studied, or is this something that you just kind of followed a passion? And so, how did we end up here?
So the answer to all of that is yes. Literally, yes. I grew up here in the Triad. I live in Winston-Salem. That's where I make my home. And I originally wanted to be a journalist, just straight up,
Like forever. You always wanted to be a journalist?
I mean, okay, there was a time where I wanted to be a police sketch artist, but I was also in third grade. But I've always wanted to be a journalist, or be in communications. If I wasn't talking, I wanted to write.
Sure.
And so I didn't know how realistic that was. And so I was like, I can be a teacher. I can still talk and write and do that, right? So I went to East Carolina University, go Pirates. And got an English degree. So I decided at the very last minute that I didn't want to teach and just have a regular old English degree. And when I went out into the workforce, I realized that as a writer, I could either be a generalist and do everything, or I could be niche. And so I've always loved food. I love being around food. Why not do food?
Sure.
Right? So I went looking for a job, and literally the only requirement that I didn't have was culinary school or any food experience. So I went to culinary school. Not necessarily to learn how to cook, because I already knew how to cook.
Okay.
But to learn about food. So knowing how to cook and knowing about food are two different things. They are mutually exclusive. Just because you know how to cook doesn't mean you know about food. And just because you know about food doesn't mean you know how to cook. Well, I combine the two, and I can walk the walk and talk the talk. Along with that, I worked in restaurants, front of the house and back of the house, because why not be a food writer and write about all the food? But in order to do that, I need to have the experience. I need to know how things work, front, back, behind the scenes, all of the things.
Sure.
So the working in the back of the house, honestly, not my bag, not my thing. I did it because I felt like I had to, not because I wanted to. And front of the house is more my speed because I'm a people person.
Yep.
And I get to see the people coming in. I've always been a very gregarious person, and that really spoke to me. And then on top of that, I'm a creative writer, so why not? Why not combine the two? So my first big girl job out of culinary school was working at the Greensboro News and Record as an editorial assistant.
Okay.
And my job had literally nothing to do with food, and that made me sad. And I was like, how am I going to stay connected with the food world? I literally just paid thousands of dollars for this culinary degree. How can I stay connected? The only way I could think of was to start a food blog.
Okay.
So the food blog was literally just a culinary outlet, just something to all of the things that I had learned, all the things I wanted to try, put it on the internet. I found a food forum of other food bloggers, and to this day, this is January
2021.
My blog is 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't believe it sometimes. But I I'm getting a little goosebumps thinking about it. 14 years old. But when I started, it was literally just, this is what I'm doing today. I had all kinds of different culinary jobs while I worked at the newspaper on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I would blog about that. This is what I made today. This is what I did. We went on vacation. This is what we ate. Because maybe one day I'll be a food critic. I don't know. But let me, put some things, put some feelers out there. And it wasn't until 2014 when I actually took it full time.
Okay.
So
What made you take it full time?
So to be honest, I couldn't find a job doing what I wanted with the pay that I wanted.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this, but the Triad area is not a mecca for culinary opportunity.
Okay.
And by that I mean we are not one of the four corners of the earth, meaning this is not New York, this is not Miami, this is not LA, this is not Seattle.
Gotcha.
Charlotte is our biggest city that's close to us.
Sure.
But Charlotte is still growing, and it is, yes, the largest metro area, but then we're the second largest metro area, but we get passed over a lot. Actually, I think there was third somewhere. We're the third largest metro area,
okay,
but we get passed over a lot. People love to talk about Charlotte. They love to talk about Asheville. Oh, we have a house up in Hendersonville. That's nice. They love to talk about Raleigh because that's our capital.
Yeah.
They love to talk about the coast, but they miss us completely. And I feel like it's part of my job to
represent.
Share. Yes, basically represent and tell people. I
love
can
that.
do my job anywhere in the world, literally.
Yeah.
And I choose to do it here.
Yeah.
When I was in culinary school, I was in Miami. And I mean, Miami, that's one of the four corners.
Yeah.
That's one of the places to be. But I chose to leave Miami to come back here because I knew something was happening.
Yeah.
Something was brewing.
I like that.
And I still feel that way.
Let's take it back a second. What did you learn from going to culinary school in Miami? Like, what did you just, obviously you got to travel a little bit. You were down in Florida, whole different scene in Miami than Triad, right? I mean, what did you learn from that? Like, what did you.
So, most of my classmates were not American, first of all.
Okay.
They're from literally all over the world, but
Gotcha.
most of them from South America.
Central, yep.
Yeah, and lots of Caribbean.
Makes sense,
Caribbean,
yep.
Aruba, Guatemala, Honduras, Peru, and I learned so much about the South American and Cuban even cultures.
Flavors, cultures, the whole thing.
Yes, absolutely. And that was outside of school. So in school, so I went to Le Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts in Miami, and it's a French school, and you learn classical French cooking. And
Which, did you know anything about French cooking before you went, or no? Like, it was all new to you?
so before going to school, I actually took a little jaunt across the pond.
Okay.
And went to Paris and took a week-long class.
Okay.
To at the original Le Cordon Bleu in Paris. To, I guess, do I really want to do this? Is
Sure.
this a thing?
A little taste to see, kind of see how it was.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't want to say it was completely different in America, but first of all the classes are in English in America, and in Paris they're in French. And
how was that, first off?
So I bought Rosetta Stone, all 3 levels, and went through all 3 levels before going.
Yeah, like fast track style, like.
Pretty much. Yeah. So it was like kamikaze French. You know, the only French I knew was ballet.
Yeah.
I took ballet as a child.
Yeah.
But it was a lot.
So you're learning a language and you're learning how to actually cook and take at the same time.
Yes. So fortunately for me, like I said, I knew how to cook beforehand.
Okay.
I've been doing my family's Thanksgiving since I was 14.
Nice.
But it was literally just a matter of technique and finesse.
Sure.
And how to properly plate.
Sure.
How to...
The details,
exactly.
the last 5%.
Exactly. Menu planning.
Sure.
All of those types
Sure.
of things. And so basically, culinary school unlocked. Culinary school was a key, and it literally unlocked my brain.
I like that.
And unleashed all of this creativity inside of me.
I love that.
And so that is what I learned in culinary school. And I never ever want to discourage anyone from doing anything that they want to do. I went to culinary school basically to fast track my way through the restaurant world. The most inexpensive way to do it is to start at the bottom and work your way up. Go into the restaurant, knock on the back door. Actually, fill out the application. You can knock on the back door if you want to, but but knock on the door.
Yep.
Get a job.
Start working.
And just start working. That is literally the best way.
100%.
And I wanted to fast track all that, knowing good and well I did not want to work at a restaurant.
Yeah.
The only reason why I did it is because I had to, so that people could never come back and say, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's never done A, B, C, D. But guess what? I've done A, B, C, D, E, and F. So no one can ever say that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Nice.
I mean, they can say it, but it won't be true.
Nice. I love that. So you end up going to culinary school, right? Or you had this week class in France.
Yes.
Right.
And then came back. Yeah.
Went to school.
Yes.
Chose to come back, and now you are obviously super proud that you're from the Triad. You represent the Triad.
Yeah.
You're Now, what exactly are you doing now? Because I know you got your hands in. You're still writing. You're still obviously food blogger. Give us some details as far as what NikSnacks is about.
So, I guess not first and foremost, but part of on my plate, I'm the food editor at Triad City Beat, weekly alternative newspaper.
Okay.
And so basically, I'm the food content for the paper.
Okay.
I have a weekly column. It's called NikSnacks. Who would have thought? And essentially, I get to write about what I want. But in doing that, I try to cover as much of the good content as I can.
Okay.
So it's not restaurant openings and closings. It's not who is doing something new and innovative. No, not really.
Sure.
What it is, it's people, places, and things. It's about the people in the area that are doing really cool things, especially if they're trendy, because I feel like I'm pretty trendy. It's about places, as in like, I like to do roundups. Like in 2019, I did a definitive Triad biscuit list. And so basically, I went through the whole entire Triad, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and High Point, looking for the best biscuits, where they were, how to get them. So I love to do lists like that. I've done margarita lists, tequila lists.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of fun in there too.
Nice.
But then also I like to tell stories. Stories about the people that are from our area, that live here, work here, that are in the food industry. And even if they're not in the food industry, just, what are they doing? Maybe they're doing something cool at home.
Yeah.
Or, maybe they're part of a collective or a collaborative. And it's something that, our readers and the Triad in general need to know about.
Sure. Okay. So that's one thing you do.
That's one.
Okay.
And then number 2 is NikSnacks.
Okay.
So NikSnacks, it's my food blog, but essentially it's a multimedia food property. So I'm one of those influencers that people talk about being popular on the internet. I've got literally thousands of followers that are not just here in the Triad, but all over the world. I develop recipes for different brands. So over the course of the past 14 years, but over the past 7 years, because that's my full-time job, I've worked with probably 110 different brands.
Okay.
And I develop recipes for them, and I make videos, write copy, do a lot of behind-the-scenes work.
Sure.
I also do... I guess, I don't want to call it ghostwriting because it's more than that, but work for editorials for magazines.
Okay.
And research.
Nice.
There's a lot of research.
Okay.
So, for instance, just a little example.
All right.
That big corporation called Walmart?
Yep.
So Walmart, they have a magazine that they publish to their employees.
Okay.
I think it's now online, but they need to source content from somewhere. And so they always, part of Walmart stores is they have a grocery store. And what do you buy at the grocery store?
Food.
Exactly. And they need people to show folks how to use the food that you buy at the grocery store.
Sure.
And so I have in the past come up with recipes, photographed it, and done little videos for that particular magazine.
Nice.
My name's not on it
Sure.
because they paid for the rights for that.
Gotcha.
But it's something that I can still, put that little feather in my hat.
Sure, of course.
And then I do a lot of work with actually the Department of Agriculture, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
Every single food commodity that there is in the world, there is a commission, a group, or an association associated with it.
Sure.
And the members of those commissions and associations, basically they belong to them so that they can promote their food. And who's a better promoter than an influencer?
The actual people, yeah.
Yeah, so I do a lot of work with them as well. And then, that's pretty much what I do as far as that goes.
Perfect. Now let's start from the beginning. How would somebody get started? Right, like let's say like somebody's watching this and like, you know what? I love food. I have a passion for this. I would love to do what Nikki does. Like just talk about food is what I love to do. I love to bake too. I love to whatever. Is it as simple as just start? Like what you mentioned at the restaurant. Like what are some tips that you can give somebody that maybe is young and is just learning their passion for food? What are some things now that you've been doing it for years? What are some things that you would suggest to these guys?
Well, first of all, I have to say that the landscape now is 125% different than when I started.
Sure.
When I started, bloggers weren't making money.
Sure.
That it wasn't a thing.
It literally was a hobby.
It literally was a hobby. It was folks saying, hey, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Or I want to share my family's recipes.
Sure.
I love cooking and I want to share this with the internet.
100%.
That's literally all it was. And then I don't know what happened. Something snapped. And all of a sudden, people were making money. Brands were reaching out to bloggers
Different
saying,
people, yep.
hey, take this water.
And like talk about it.
Yes, we will send you a case of water.
Yeah.
Will you write a post about it and put it on your blog?
Sure.
People were like, yeah. And then something else snapped. And brands were like, all right, we'll toss you a couple of bucks. I'm not sure if it was the bloggers or the brands that said, hey, what about money? But something happened.
Either way. Money got involved.
Yes. So how, then now, yes, literally just start. If you don't start, you're not going to get anywhere. If you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no.
100%.
And so if you have a passion for it, or you want to, show off the gems and jewels of Winston-Salem or High Point or Greensboro, just start. This day and age in 2021, I say start with Instagram. Instagram is one of the hottest apps out there.
Yep.
Everyone is on it. If you're not on Instagram, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I don't trust you if you're not on Instagram. It used to be if you weren't on Facebook, I didn't trust you.
Yeah.
But if you're not on Instagram, I don't trust you. And then if Instagram's not your thing, there are alternatives.
Sure.
TikTok.
Yep.
Why not?
Yep.
Video is in. If you're not doing video, you're nobody. You're no one. Also, your photography has to be on point.
Yeah.
And if your photography is not on point, there are apps for that.
Yeah.
So there are tons of apps to download to accompany Instagram and TikTok.
So, I mean, essentially what you're saying is just start.
Just start.
Just like what you, that's one thing that I always suggest to Nikki is that, if you have the analysis paralysis where everything's got to be perfect and you've got to learn French before you go to school in France for a week, or you have to be an actual photographer to start taking pictures of food, you learn along the way. Literally learn. It's how
trial and error.
It's literally how my cousin and I started our paper company. We didn't know what was going on. We were 22 and 18 years old, and we just grabbed the laptop and a QuickBooks just software, and we said, how can we sell these products to customers? And I wasn't good, and I didn't have a sales pitch, and there was so much we had to learn. And so our first 4 or 5 years, the learning curve was just very small. We just were, every day was just learning some basics, but then at some point, the learning curve will go up, and you will become confident, and you will know what you're doing, and you will know how to edit, and you will know how to shoot different angles, right?
Absolutely. No, I've been doing this for so long, I've been in the trenches, and I've,
grinded for so long.
Yes, but also on the same token, this is my job.
Yep.
This is not a hobby.
Yeah.
I literally, one day, I went from broke to broke, meaning I had nothing, and the only thing I had was my blog. I sat on my couch, crisscross applesauce, crying because my previous job I was fired from. I'm not gonna lie, yes, I have been fired on your application.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do? What do I have? I put in applications in places that I didn't even want to work.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was gonna do, and I said, you know what? I have this blog. And I'm literally going to flip it and turn it overnight. This is what I'm going to do. This is my job now.
Where were you at 7 years ago when that decision was made? Did you already have a huge following? Were you on the come up? Where were you at? I'm curious now.
I don't want to say I was all over the place, and even now some days people think that I'm all over the place. They're like, you have so many jobs. No, it's not that. It's a career that I have, and there's different facets to my job.
Sure.
So 7 years ago, math. What is 7 years ago?
2004. No, 14.
I was like,
14.
Like 2004, I was still in college.
So 14 is when you went full time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there was no Instagram then, first of all.
When did Instagram come out? Do you have any idea?
I want to say it was 15.
Okay.
But I didn't get onto Instagram until 16.
Gotcha.
I was more of a public personality at the time. At the time, I was a guest chef at this health and wellness center, and I did in-person cooking classes.
Gotcha.
And I, not to toot my own horn, but I was the most popular chef there, and so all my classes, and they were free. They were free to everybody else, but they were literally sold out, meaning standing room only every single week.
Yeah.
I fortunately got hooked up with the Department of Agriculture that year too, and they had this dining series here in the Triad. It was called Fire in the Triad, and I was asked to be the official food blogger for it. And so that really opened up my world at that point. I wasn't working.
How did you make that connection with the...
Someone reached out to me. So basically, I guess they Googled food blogger Winston-Salem.
Sure.
Or
and then
food blogger
you
Triad,
were up there, yeah.
And I showed up. And they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said,
Sure.
I said yes.
Of course.
I said yes
of course.
immediately.
Here's why I even asked the question, like, where were you at in 14? Because, I didn't know if you were, I guess had enough recognition that people, were coming to you, or if you were still like just doing everything you could to get your name. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying it's two different mindsets, but like when you're not known and nobody knows you and you're trying to start a business from scratch and make a name for yourself, you are saying yes to everything. Like you, and it's not even that, it's like you've got to be so, there is no like picking and choosing. It is offense.
I said yes to literally everything. Everything I said yes to. There was nothing I said no to. I was at every single event. I was at my nose was in everything, all the things,
100%.
all of the research, every single piece of food media that was available to me, I was reading it, I was seeing it.
Consuming it, learning.
Yes, I was seeing who was doing what, where, and when, connecting names and numbers and connecting the dots.
Reaching out to people, sending emails, calling, right?
And literally showing up. So back in between 2014 to 2016, there were a ton of events, just tons of events.
Sure.
Where where all the people were. My face was everywhere, and I was everywhere. People were like, "How are you on the internet and here too?"
Yeah.
So a little tip, a little trick.
Okay.
Or a couple of tips and tricks. So, you don't have to be online, on your phone, on your computer all the time. There are tons of apps that you can schedule your posts.
100%.
Honestly, I don't know if people know that, but you could schedule your Instagram posts, you can schedule your Facebook posts, you can schedule your tweets. If you're on Pinterest, that's another big one. Pinterest is huge.
Yep.
And Pinterest is also changing. You can schedule your pins. You can schedule everything, so you can actually live your life and hang out with your family, but as well have that online media presence. So
that.
I was doing that back in 2016, scheduling
that.
everything, literally everything. And then when I had time, I would take 2 to 3 hours a day and go back and like the comments and reply 100%. And all of those
Which
things.
is important too.
Hugely important.
Right? Like you've got an audience.
Yes.
Be active.
Yes.
Don't be passive.
No.
Even in that area.
Yes. It bugs me sometimes when I reach out to a local person, and yes, I know we're all busy. We absolutely are. Even in this day and age, we're still all busy. And my comment doesn't even get not even a response, but they don't like it or anything. I understand missing comments and things like that. I get that.
Yeah.
I miss comments all the time.
100%.
All the time.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is not reaching out to the community and not being collaborative. And that's another thing. That's a huge thing. You are not an island. This is a community.
Sure.
Reach out. Make a cohort. Invite your friends, and by friends, your soon-to-be new friends.
Like not friends yet, but
that's right. Yes,
friends.
Strangers that you haven't virtually met yet.
There you go. There you go.
Reach out. Say, hey, what's up? Even if you can't have a coffee or go out and see each other, schedule a Zoom.
100%.
Schedule a room on Instagram or Facebook. Make that happen.
Just do something.
Do something. Because you are not the only person out here. There are a lot of us. I went to an event at another local pizzeria that shall not be named. That is not Mario's.
Okay.
And I walked in the room, and there were dozens of folks that I'd never seen before. And I've been in this game so long.
Yeah.
I literally.
You know everybody.
And when I walked in, I was like, I don't know any of you. What's the name of what do you do again? And so.
Which I bet that was heaven for you, because now you can make new connections, right?
It was the ultimate.
100%.
Like, it really was.
100%.
But then also, I feel like an OG now. And every day I find a new account from someone that I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah? What are you doing? What's happening?
Yeah.
And there is room for everyone. That's the thing. There's literally room for everyone. And I love what I do, and I probably will never stop. I might stop doing recipe development one day, and I might just be, a content creator.
Sure.
And I might be, be a content creator for other bloggers and influencers to show them how to do it.
Sure.
But that community, and by that community I mean our community.
Sure.
It means the world. So you're not an island. Reach out, say hey,
I love
and
that.
Make it happen.
Here's another thing that I really love that we've kind of touched on is take a second, Nikki, if you can, and talk about being patient. Because I feel like people want to be maybe an influencer or want to have a little bit of recognition or would like to get paid or be asked from the North Carolina Agriculture Department to do stuff, but listen, this may not happen in the next 4 months, or it may not happen. I mean, as good as 2021 is going to be, it may not happen all this year. You got to be patient. Now, it's like, you need to have a sense of urgency, but patient at the same time. Does that make sense? Like it's got to be both. And so, because I didn't know. It's been 14 years since. But that impresses me. I like that. My cousin started our business 12 years ago, and it's like the last 3-4 years we've really, really made a lot of moves. And I'm like, you know what? But no one talks about the first 4 years when we weren't making money and we weren't doing much, and it felt like nothing was happening. You know what I mean? And so,
tell that to my mom.
Take a second.
Oh my gosh, my poor mom. I love her so much. My mom watched me struggle. Big time. There were days where she was like, why can't you just get a job in a restaurant and work in a restaurant?
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, it doesn't really work like that. It's the long gone are the days of knocking on the back door and saying, can I have a job? And she's like, but I don't understand. And I said, okay, do you understand how getting a job works? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
You fill out the application, then you have to fill it out online. And then you have to add your resume and everything that you already just put on the application. And then you might get an interview. You go for an interview, and then you might have 1, 2, 3, 4. At one point in time, one place I applied, I had 7 different interviews, and I still didn't get the job.
Wow.
I'm not going to say I'm salty over that. I'm truffle salty over that, okay? And then, you get the job, but then it's 90 to 180 days of that learning curve, and then your benefits might kick in, and then on top of that, all of the dynamics that have to go with the job.
Sure.
It's not that easy. At minimum, you're looking at 4 to 5 months before you actually start making money to catch up from what you didn't have before.
Sure.
So, but yeah, my mom, she watched me struggle, and not watched as in haha, there you are, child, but watched as in,
She saw you walk through that
yeah, and
those early years.
Yes, and now she's, every day, I talk to my mom every day, and she's like, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad for you, and, and she can see, the change in me and how,
100%.
I know my worth, I can't believe sometimes that people want to pay me for doing what I do, and I only say that because I am living a dream.
Sure.
Like, I can't believe that I get to wake up every day and do this really cool thing. I get to work from home. I get to set my own hours and my own prices. And on top of that, I get to decide what work I do.
Sure.
I get to decide who I work with. I get to decide my coworkers.
Yeah.
Who gets that?
Yeah.
Who? Me.
Yep.
And you, if you want to be an influencer too. I sound like an MLM, sorry.
Now, I kind of understand what you were saying. Like, you can't believe, like, where you're at.
Yeah.
I think, Nikki, we forget the work that we did a long time ago. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of work.
Like in 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, 12, when it's, I think like even myself, I'm just so proud of what my cousin and I and our staff have built as far as a company and the reputation. And it's like, yeah, it's like, cause 12 years ago it was just me and my cousin, and we, you know what I mean? And it's like, so I think a lot of times we forget, 14 years ago what it was like. And so like, that's why now you're like, dang, I can't believe I can do this. Well, I can, because 14 years ago and 12 years ago and 9 years ago, like it just, it wasn't the way it is today. You know what I mean? So
it's totally different now. Other tips to give
sure.
folks.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, the ultimate goal literally is to make money, but also, to get your name out there,
Sure.
et cetera, et cetera. So, just like someone reached out to me and pretty much helped give me my start, you can do the same. Reach out to your favorite brand, your favorite restaurant. Say, hey, my name is, this is what I'm doing.
Sure.
Connect their product or their favorite, or not their, but your favorite product of theirs to what you're doing.
100%.
And it's not about the numbers these days. It's about the engagement. It's about the percentage of your followers that are actually engaging with you on social media.
Sure.
That's nice that you have 8,000 followers, but you're only getting 12 likes. You need to up that engagement.
Yeah.
You need to do that. And so in order to attempt to up that engagement, ask questions so that your followers can answer them. How does this look? How does this taste? How does this taste? Would you eat this?
Yeah. I like that.
Engage with them.
Yeah, I like that.
Engage with them so that they can, or at least attempt to engage with them so they can engage with you.
And here's something else that you said, reach out to different brands and, and what's the worst thing that's going to happen?
The worst thing that's going to happen.
Worst thing.
The absolute worst thing that'll happen is they'll say no.
Okay. I mean, before you asked them, you didn't have them as a client or a customer anyway, right? I mean, and listen, I understand that sometimes that's a little harder to a pill to swallow. But listen, the more you do it, the easier it gets, right?
Part of the reason why it's a hard pill to swallow is because you are your brand a lot of the time.
Sure.
This is you. Obviously, it's your blood, sweat, and tears.
Sure.
But they're not saying no to you,
personally.
John Q. Public.
Exactly.
Joanna Q. Public.
Yes.
They are saying no to what you're offering.
That transaction that you're offering.
Yes. They're not saying no to you. Unless they come back and say you are a terrible person. That's a whole different story, a whole different podcast.
Yeah, we got some books to read and some things to work on.
Oh, God.
No, but I just want to throw that out there because, I don't think it's easier today to literally send a DM or an email to 5 people a day. It can't get easier, right? It goes back to just do work. Just take action.
Yeah.
Just try.
a lot of it is about, how passionate you are and whatnot. And people can see that and brands can see that. And this day and age, who you are as a person can be and is connected to your brand. Case in point, I'm definitely connected to my brand. So when I started my blog, it was on Blogger, and it was just NikSnacks.blogspot.com. I don't want to say no personality, but not really. It was just a landing page for all my things.
Sure.
I had a follower reach out to me via email, and she said, "You are hiding behind your blog." She said, "I've met you in person. You are a dynamic personality, and you need to be the face and in the forefront of your blog. You need to change this domain, and you need to put your face out there." And I was just like, "Okay, lady." But she was right. And so I changed and bought my domain. I had my landing page, always because of the blog. But then I started showing my face more and really, reaching out and engaging with my audience.
Sure.
And to date, my highest liked post on Instagram are one where I show my face and not just the food,
Sure.
even though I'm a food blogger.
Yeah.
If I could just be an entire feed of my face, I absolutely would do that. But it's not always about me, even though it kind of is.
Yeah.
But there is a fine line between your brand, and even your, extra day job, if you will. The difference, even for me, so I ride that fine line every day between being a journalist as a public figure and a blogger. And my audience is trusting me without them knowing it that I know the difference. So there are a lot of things that bloggers can do that journalists can't do, meaning take comps, free food, gifts, prizes, etc. I can do that as a blogger, literally as a blogger, but I can't do that as a journalist. And a lot of people and businesses and things don't understand that. And I cannot intertwine the two worlds. I would love to find a happy medium and put them together, but that's not going to work. I am fortunate in that way that I do have those both sides, but the two sides do not bleed, and I make it very, very clear when I work with folks, especially local folks, because everyone wants to, have an article written about them, or they want to, be in the paper, free advertisement, and that's not how it works.
Yeah.
The reason why media works is because folks pay money to be seen.
Sure.
And when a brand or a business, etc., pays me actual money, and not just in water bottles or
XYZ product, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
It shows that they are interested in me and my brand.
Sure.
And also they think that I'm worthy. And by worthy, I mean they value my expertise.
Yep.
They value my professionalism.
Sure.
They value my audience and what they're about to see and what I'm about to produce. And also they give, it's a contract. I always require contracts whenever I do business.
Nice.
It's a contract between the two of us, and it keeps us both accountable.
Sure.
But when you offer money on top of product, that's the golden ticket right there. Yeah.
I like that. that. Let's do some fun questions. Okay. So let's do favorite dish that you love to make.
Just one?
Yeah, just one. So let's say you're going to Thanksgiving. What is everybody asking you to bring? What is Nikki, you make sure you bring, what do they love that you make? What is the one thing that everybody at Mom is always asking for?
That's loaded because I do everything.
Pick one.
Oh, gosh. All right. So the one dish that I love to make, biscuits. I love to make biscuits.
Okay.
I love everything about biscuits. Obviously, biscuits taste good. Obviously, I'm a Southern lady.
Yep.
I like to tell people I was not born here, but I was bred here. Lots of bread. I eat it all the time. And I make it too. I make it and I'm actually making it. So it's biscuits all day, every day.
I like that. I like that. You love doing desserts?
I do, actually. Yes.
Favorite dessert?
Okay, that's loaded because of all the different categories.
Okay.
I'm going to go with cake.
Okay.
And favorite cake, I'm going to go with pineapple upside down cake.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a unique one.
Yeah.
Okay. How about what's something that you don't like to make? Anything that like you can make, obviously, but you just like, you know what? I'm just not a huge fan of making this.
I can make everything, but what don't I like to make? Oh wow,
Anything comes to mind or no?
I can't think of anything I don't like to make. Labor-intensive things I really don't like to make.
Okay. What's your favorite ingredient? Or what's an ingredient trending right now? Maybe that.
So I'll do both.
Okay.
So my super special secret ingredient.
Okay.
That I use all the time in everything, and it ramps everything up, and people don't even know.
Okay.
Truffle salt.
Truffle salt.
Truffle salt.
Which you already mentioned earlier, truffle salt.
I did.
And I was wondering what it was. So.
Yes, I am very truffle salty about that.
Now, explain truffle salt. What is truffle salt?
So, truffle salt is salt, and not like your regular iodized salt.
Okay.
It's usually a sea salt or a kosher salt.
Sure.
And it has bits of ground up truffle, not chocolate truffles, but the mushroom truffle in it.
Interesting.
And it's a specialty food item, and so you can buy it online, but they have it in specialty food stores, and they even have it in grocery stores too, in certain areas.
Yeah.
But excuse me, it's literally like sprinkling MSG without using MSG on your stuff. It ramps everything up.
Really?
It really intensifies the flavor of everything. Like, yeah, it's salt because, you know, salt of the earth. Salt is life, literally. That's why they have those stickers. But truffle salt is real life. It's one of the best things, and you can just...
So you swear by this product?
Oh, absolutely, without question. Like, it's...
Wow.
Yeah, it's my super special secret ingredient, and I'm sharing that with you because...
Paper Trails fans love it, right?
And this isn't exclusive. I don't think I've ever shared that with anybody.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Like,
nice.
I don't tell people. They're like,
Okay.
man, this is so good. I'm like, I know.
I never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Wow.
You've heard of truffle oil, right?
Yeah, but not salt.
There you go. Oh, add truffle oil in the salt?
Over Grover. It's a game over.
I mean, really? I mean, yeah.
Next level.
Next level. Literally next level.
Okay, trending ingredient. Is there anything trending right now that you've seen? Like
There's so many things that are trending right now.
Last 6 or 12 months? Like
okay,
what?
So something that is trending right now, and I actually made it last night for the very first time.
Cool.
And it was phenomenal.
Okay.
It's trend. I don't know why it doesn't matter why it's trending. So there's two things.
Okay.
One is the tortilla. The tortilla is trending. I know everybody knows about tortillas and whatnot, but specifically, it's the tortilla fold. So basically, you take your tortilla, and it's sitting in front of you, and you make a cut from the middle down toward you.
Okay.
What is that, horizontal?
Yeah.
And then
vertical.
you put,
I think.
Is it vertical?
I think horizontal is this way. Anyway.
Hey, that's math. That's geometry, and I was terrible in math, so do not judge me.
It's all good.
I'm the worst.
I'm here. You
are here. You're here.
We're good.
Cover me.
We're good.
Thank you. I don't do geometry very well, even though I know. But this is going to turn into a triangle.
Okay.
When we're done.
Okay.
So basically, you cut it vertical, and then you put on each imaginary quadrant what you're going to put. So let's say...
You know what? I've seen this somewhere.
TikTok
maybe? I've seen this somewhere.
Oh, yeah. So TikTok is like the thing. Like if you're not doing Instagram, you need to be doing TikTok.
Okay.
So you put your 4 or 5 ingredients in each quadrant, and then you fold up on the left side, and then you keep going around until your triangle is complete. and filled with all of your items.
I've seen this is like newish, like the last couple months, I think, right?
Yes.
This is really trending.
Yes, it really is right now. So whether you're doing the video and showing everybody, or you're just doing it in your own home for your own pleasure, it's definitely trending. And then the second thing that's trending are birria tacos. So Mexican food is always trending because why not? It's amazing.
You like Mexican food?
I love Mexican food.
Favorite Mexican dish?
Birria tacos. So, birria, what birria is, the word birria is goat in Spanish.
Okay.
And I'm saying it like the gringa that I am. And it's a braised dish that's highly spiced.
Okay.
And there is a consomme or a broth, and it's deep, dark red, and it's got good spices and onions and cilantro, a little bit of vinegar in it. And so you take your corn tortilla, not flour, only corn only, yellow or white, it doesn't matter, but as long as it's corn, you dip it in that consomme,
I've seen this.
Dip it in that broth, and you put it on the griddle or your cast iron skillet or even your nonstick skillet, and you sear it, and you make sure it's all toasty. And then you take your braised, you don't have to use goat. You can use beef, which is what I did.
Yep.
You can use pork. You could even do chicken, but let's just stick with beef.
Okay.
Chuck roast, pork shoulder, because, this is the land of barbecue, so I know you got a pork shoulder in your freezer. And so you braise it in that broth, and then you take it out. And
I've seen this. I've seen this.
And then you put it, and then you can make it a basically a quesadilla and put cheese in it and melt it and put it, and then you put it on your plate. Serve it with chopped onion, cilantro, squeeze of lime. It's amazing.
And then you also dip it in the sauce also, right?
And as you eat it, you dip it in the consomme, and it will change your life. And then when you're done, you have that little bowl of goodness, and you just sip it, and it's the elixir of life sliding down your throat, making you a whole person.
And listen, guys, and this is how you live to be 100 years old, right? You can be a centurion and live 100 years old.
Yes, pretty much, yes.
From this, I love that.
Yeah, so
I love
those
that.
are the two trending things.
And you know what? I have noticed that even tortillas, period, are really people doing breakfast stuff with tortillas. Just period. People are doing a lot of stuff with that.
Mexican food is as older than anybody can imagine. Yeah. And it's coming up, and by coming up, I mean it's on trend right now. Yeah. And it's the thing. Before the tacos, and the cool foldy tortilla thing, it was the dalgona coffee, where you take coffee granules, a little bit of salt, and granulated sugar, and water, and you whip it up into the nice coffee cloud, and it's very strong, and you just put it over milk and ice, and it's very labor intensive, whether you do it by hand or use a machine. That was the trendy thing.
Really?
While everybody was at home last year, banana bread was in, sourdough bread was in, people were baking again. There was a run on flour, and there was no flour in the stores. No yeast to, make the bread rise. And so folks were making yeast at home, which is really easy. Just take a couple of grapes, put it in a jar or a bottle, and put a little bit of water in there and let it sit on the counter for a couple of days, and the yeast will form on the grapes, and you can use that to make your bread. I know, crazy. It's called science.
What?
I'm
science. Blown away right now.
Science is real.
This is awesome.
It's a thing.
It's so interesting that you say that. We just had a couple episodes ago an executive chef from Charlotte that he has his own little baking business, delivery bacon business, and he was saying the last 6 months or the last maybe 12 months, 18 months, just artisan bread has really come very popular. And so, it's this is really cool to hear. I really like this.
It reminds me of the days in culinary school where we baked bread, and we had 2 baking classes, and in the first class it was rudimentary, and it's we learned how to do baguettes and croissants and boules
which
and
croissants
sourdough.
are amazing. just
yes,
croissants are the real deal.
Yes, the real deal.
In Greece, they do a ton of croissants, like chocolate-filled croissants or like just cheese-filled, just like, you know, like they...
Oh, I want a croissant with cheese in it.
Oh, man, it is... Good
yeah, and it's all flaky and one of my bucket list goals is to make it to Santorini. I literally just want to do that for the gram.
There we go.
But
who doesn't?
I miss travel and I miss seeing people and being out more than anything.
Yeah.
But
especially being people.
Yes.
Especially like I love interacting. I love this. I love talking, getting to know people, their story. I think it's why I really love doing the show. Like it's my favorite. So, Nikki, last thoughts. Talk to the Paper Trails audience. What are your last thoughts about business 2021? Making sure it's a prosperous year for everybody. Cooking, the food business. What are some last tips, thoughts?
So
about just making sure that it becomes the best year for everybody.
Not to dwell on the past, but if you don't talk about the past, you absolutely cannot move ahead to the future. Last year, obviously, was a weird, crazy, ridiculous year for a lot of people. A lot of people, all of us that are listening and watching this right now came out unscathed, really, because if you're able to watch this, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
2020 was actually my most profitable and prolific year to date.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
And I am so proud and honored and blessed to say that. And I hope, of course, even better for 2021,
Sure.
But literally it's a hope and a dream. I hope that, even though all of us can't be in person together, reach out to that community, reach out to other bloggers and Instagrammers and TikTokers and say, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? How you doing? My name is, let's collab on something,
Yeah.
It's not about reaching out. When you reach out to a brand, that's like a B2B relationship.
Sure.
That's it.
Sure.
We need to talk about A and B, you and me.
Yeah.
Let's, do something together.
Friend to friend.
Exactly.
I love that.
I that is literally the only way that we're going to get by. Social media is going to save our lives, and why not just continue that on? I am so happy and proud to be here with you, of course,
Sure.
but also be here in this space where I can give tips and tricks. But again, I'm not an island, and I want to get to know your audience, and I want my audience to get to know you too.
100%.
And just reach out, say hey, and if they don't respond, again,
hey,
folks are busy.
You did your part though.
Exactly. It's cool.
I really like that because I feel like you never know what maybe somebody else is going through or kind of dealing with. And so being that like positive influence for somebody and just saying that quick hello or, hey, let's partner up, let's do something. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but maybe they're going through a slump. Yeah. Maybe you just don't know. You just don't know. Like, let's be friendly, let's love each other, let's hang out, let's jam, let's do some business, and let's make sure we all have a profitable year.
That's right.
That's one of the reasons why I even love doing this. Obviously we get to, interact and share love, but share love with the businesses that we're around in our community. You know what I mean? So anyway, Nikki, I love this. I think this was such an awesome interview and show. And so anyway, episode 26 in the books. Appreciate you guys hanging with us. Look forward to seeing you guys very, very soon. We have a lot more things in store. If you have not subscribed, obviously, to NikSnacks, go do it. Follow her. She's got a ton of great content. Obviously, she does a lot of different stuff. Recipes, feedback. And like I said, she's a big portion of representing, the Triad, which, is something that I want to do more of is just do more, shows and features up here in this area. And so, anyway, obviously subscribe to our page if you have not, holler at us. And so anyway, appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.